The Mario movies are divisive films, to say the least. But whether you love them or hate them, the one thing that most people agree on is that the plot is rather lacking. The Super Mario Galaxy movie in particular has gotten a lot of criticism for this. But the one thing I don't really hear anybody talking about is that it came very close to being really good, and I'd argue originally was before some major rewrites. But I'll get into that later. Back when the first Super Mario movie was announced, I thought that it was either going to end up being hilariously bad, or somehow actually really good, which was a win-win in my eyes. But when I actually watched the movie, I thought that it was just okay. Not a bad film, but not great by any stretch. I feel like if this was a standalone movie that wasn't being carried by the Mario brand, it would be forgotten within a week. But the part that I found most disappointing is that it could have been so much better. There were a lot of things in the movie I actually really enjoyed. And with just a little bit of tweaking, they could have come together to make a solid, cohesive film. A film that appeals to both people that want fan service and people that want a well-written original story. But in the end, that's not what happened. So needless to say, once Illumination revealed the Super Mario Galaxy movie, my expectations were very low. I figured this was going to end up being another generic movie about Mario saving the princess with no deviation from the incredibly safe Mario storyline, and a bunch of ham-fisted elements from the games. But when I finally watched the movie, I was actually pleasantly surprised, at least for the first hour or so. Maybe it's just because my expectations were so low, but I felt like there were some genuinely interesting creative decisions that laid the foundation for a truly solid film. For one, I really liked all the scenes between Peach and Mario. The two of them sitting on top of the castle, Mario's awkward handshake, and being not frustrated together were all really cute moments and made the characters feel more alive. Luigi also had a lot of nice brotherly moments with Mario that I very much enjoyed. And in general, I feel like most of the characters have much more personality here than in the previous film. Luigi's naive optimism balanced with his cowardice, Toad's short temper and cynicism, and of course, Peach's desire to find her family and discover where she really came from. It all makes these characters feel way less generic and one-note, something I think the original movie suffered from a lot. I also applaud the writers for deviating from the video game continuity by making Peach and Rosalina sisters. It was a bold choice, and when it comes to these movies, I much prefer bold choices over safe ones. This movie also really stands out visually. The Bowser planet was really cool looking, and it wasn't just copying something from the games. The anime/comic book style animation they used during Fox's backstory was also incredibly nice looking, but the part that looked the best has got to be Bowser's puppet show. It was just so creative, and it looked so good that I actually thought they were real puppets for a minute. I also thought that the pacing of the movie was a bit better than the first one. Don't get me wrong, Galaxy is far from a well-paced film. It has plenty of important scenes that are way too short, and plenty of meaningless scenes that go on for way too long. But at the very least, there is no Kong army that takes up half the movie and serves absolutely no purpose to the overall story. From the start of the movie, the goal is to rescue Rosalina from Bowser Jr., and everything the protagonists do throughout the rest of the movie is working towards that goal somehow. But the part of the movie that I found most interesting and gave me hope that Illumination might actually have made a good film this time was everything they did with Bowser. Seriously, I'm sure I'm not the only one that found Bowser to be the best part of both these films. Which is interesting, because Bowser has always been the epitome of cliché video game villains. So it's kind of a miracle that they've managed to make him such a likable character over the years. He was a perfect antagonist in the first Mario movie, so when they announced a sequel, I immediately wondered what role Bowser would play in it. Would they just make Bowser the villain again? Or would he not appear at all this time and give a new villain the chance to shine? But when the trailer for the Super Mario Galaxy movie dropped, it showed a third option I hadn't considered. Bowser as a reluctant good guy trying to reform, while his son tries to bring him back to the dark side. This ends up making for such a fun dynamic between Bowser and the Mario Brothers. Bowser and Luigi being best buds while he and Mario still hate each other? Amazing. Him joyfully serving out his prison sentence in a tiny castle while battling with his short temper and villainous nature? Hilarious. Luigi acting as a mediator as he tries to get his two best bros to get along? Perfect. It's all just so good. And it gets even better when Bowser gets a genuine, honest-to-God redemption arc. This begs the question, how do you make Bowser redeem himself? Obviously, this isn't the first time Bowser has been a good guy, but I think that works a lot easier in the games. But Bowser from the Super Mario movie is a horrifying evil monster. This version of Bowser is easily the most terrifying and least sympathetic that he has ever been. Seriously, props to Illumination for managing to make Bowser, of all characters, scary. So how do you get such an unsympathetic and hopelessly selfish character to redeem himself without it feeling completely forced? What could possibly motivate Bowser to join the good guys? The answer is Bowser Jr. One of the only redeeming characteristics that Bowser displays consistently across all his appearances is that he loves his son. It's the perfect motivation to get Bowser to change his ways and go through some actual character growth. And the movie does a great job of setting this up. Here, he's not just an evil villain that also happens to love his son. He's an estranged father who knows he wasn't a great dad and wants to reconnect with him. Which also conveniently explains why Junior wasn't present in the first film. But it also gives Bowser something else important. Someone even more evil than he is. Bowser Jr. doesn't just want to rule the world. He wants to destroy the entire universe. That's something even Bowser would probably think is too far. And Junior learned everything he knows from watching his dad. Bowser was the worst parent possible, and now he's seeing the consequences firsthand. And then, the movie actually ends up drawing parallels between Bowser's relationship with his son to Rosalina and the Lumas. A connection that works on so many levels and is, dare I say, smart, and actually elevates the source material into something deeper than the sum of its parts? Okay, maybe that's kind of a low bar to be impressed at, but coming from a sequel to the Mario movie, I think it's pretty surprising. And between all of this, Illumination created the perfect setup for Bowser's inevitable heroic face turn. And then, in the climax of the movie, they don't do it. And suddenly Bowser is evil again, and there is no character development, or greater theme, or deviation from the status quo in any way. What happened? No, seriously, guys, what happened? You had gold and you flushed it down the toilet! This was the perfect opportunity to be something more than just Mario characters on a screen! A story with something actually meaningful to say about parenthood and redemption! Okay, again, maybe meaningful is a bit of a stretch coming from a movie about Super Mario, but it would have been something at least. Remember at the beginning of the video when I said I thought the movie was originally good? Let's get back to that. This whole movie reeks of last-minute rewrites. It would be one thing if the movie never even tried to begin with, But there was clearly something being set up there. We have all that stuff with Bowser starting to become less evil. Meanwhile, Bowser Jr. basically only cares about impressing his dad. And then, halfway through the movie, we get to arguably the most important scene of the film. Bowser is mourning what he thinks is the death of Mario and Luigi, and Jr. tells him that friends will just stab you in the back when your guard is down. And Bowser actually gets kind of concerned and asks him where he learned that from. And the answer is, from you, Dad. Then Jr. tells him about how family is the only one you can ever really trust. That family is the only one that will never hurt you. In the final movie, this scene is kind of played off as a joke, but I think this was originally going to lead into the film's true climax. Bowser becomes more and more uncomfortable with his son's bloodthirst and tries to get him to be less evil. And Junior views this as a huge betrayal. Everything he did was for the sake of his dad, but his dad wasn't proud of him at all. And this validates everything Junior believed about not trusting people, while simultaneously invalidating everything he believed about family. Now Junior has no one and nothing. Nothing but pain, betrayal, and fury. And he snaps, turning on Bowser and becoming more psychotic and destructive than ever. And finally, Bowser has no choice but to team up with the Mario Brothers to try to stop him. I've actually taken it upon myself to write a short scene for how I think this version of the movie would have played out. Have a watch.
Isn't this so exciting, Dad? In a few hours, the only thing left in this miserable universe will be you and me.
Listen, Junior, I've been thinking, what if we, didn't go through with this whole plan of yours?
Good one, Dad. Yeah, what if after all that hard work, we just didn't do it? Can you even imagine?
Right. It's just, how would you like to play a nice game of ball together? That sounds like fun, right?
Sure, Dad. After every last planet in the sky is reduced to ashes, there'll be plenty of time for that.
Hoo boy. You know, I was actually thinking we could do that instead of the whole galactic destruction thing.
What do you mean?
Well, you know, I just figured you might prefer to do some regular old father-son bonding. I mean, when was the last time I've taken you fishing?
You've never taken me fishing. You've never really taken me anywhere except boarding school.
Oh, right, that. But I'm here now. Daddy's home. And we can do anything we want. It doesn't have to involve the complete and total annihilation of everything that ever was.
I don't understand. Dad, this is what we've always dreamed of. And I actually made it happen. This is it. I did all of this for you. Isn't this what you wanted?
Listen, son. All that stuff, those were just stories. I mean, you didn't actually think I wanted to blow up the whole universe, right? I mean, come on, I may be evil, but I'm not crazy.
I thought you were proud of me.
What? Come on, kid, of course I'm proud of you. I mean, remember the time you polished those bill launchers so shiny that I could see my own reflection in them? No, wait, that was Kamek. Or the time you threw those hammers so far? Or was that the Hammer Brothers? Anywho, the point I'm trying to make is, of course I'm proud of all the various things you've done. But obviously there's a lot more to life than just conquest and crushing your enemies to dust and taking over the world and kidnapping princesses and forcing them to marry you and abandoning your kid so you can go conquer some more. Junior?
Nothing's more dangerous than a friend. When your armor's down, they'll just stab you in the back.
Listen, Junior, I know I said that, but maybe I wasn't exactly 100% correct.
No, Dad, I'm the one who was wrong. I always thought that family was the only one you could ever truly rely on. That family was the only one who would never hurt you. But it turns out, even family will betray you if you give them the chance.
Whoa, hold on a second, Junior.
In the end, I can't trust anyone.
Not even you.
That was neat, huh? But hey, who needs that when we can have Bowser as a skeleton? And the dragon from Super Mario Odyssey for some reason. And Yoshi! Oh god, can we talk about Yoshi for a minute? Why was he in the movie? He serves absolutely no purpose. You can cut him entirely out of the movie, and it changes nothing. In fact, while I was rewatching the movie so I could make this video, I noticed that just about every scene he's in would play out almost exactly the same way without him. Seriously, if you guys ever rewatch the movie, pretend Yoshi isn't there. It honestly feels like one of those videos where someone edits their OC into a cartoon and we have to awkwardly pretend that they were always part of it. The only two scenes where Yoshi actually matters are the scene where he is first introduced and the scene where Mario and Luigi are turned into babies. The latter of which just so happens to be the single worst instance of filler in the entire movie. Almost as if these scenes were hastily thrown into the movie at the last minute to justify the inclusion of a character that wasn't originally supposed to be there. Okay, so if all of this is the case, and the movie originally was supposed to be a lot deeper, then why did we end up with what we got? Why was it changed at the last minute? A lot of people like to blame Illumination for both these films' blandness, going as far as to say that Nintendo should have entrusted Mario to a more competent studio. And it is true that Illumination makes a lot of mediocre movies, but they have proven plenty of times that they are capable of telling emotional, character-driven stories. In fact, their most popular movie centers around a villain that learns to overcome his evil nature in order to raise 3 children. On the other hand, who do we know that was a producer on this movie who famously doesn't want Mario games to have deep stories, and during the development of the Super Mario Galaxy game actually tried to prevent the inclusion of Rosalina's iconic backstory? Okay, hold on. Now, am I saying that Illumination had this great script and Shigeru Miyamoto literally forced them to rewrite it at the last minute into something more generic? Yes, actually, that's exactly what I'm saying. Sorry if that's sacrilegious to say, but I don't think Miyamoto should have been in charge of this project at all. Don't get me wrong, Miyamoto is great at developing video games, and he deserves every bit of respect for creating the most famous video game character of all time. But a feature-length film is the last thing he should be responsible for. Sure, a video game about jumping over platforms isn't something that really needs a good story. As long as the gameplay's fun, that's all that's important. But a movie doesn't have any gameplay to carry it. It's literally one big hour-and-a-half-long story. A movie needs an engaging plot, hard-hitting emotions, character growth, and substance. But the Mario Galaxy movie didn't deliver on any of that. It was content to wallow in style and flash. And as long as Mario is safeguarded by an overprotective helicopter parent, I don't think it could ever live up to its full potential. But I think that's enough complaining for one day. Those were my thoughts on the Super Mario Galaxy movie. But there is something else I want to share with you. I am in the process of completely rewriting the ending of the movie. So if you enjoyed my fan-made scene earlier with Bowser and Bowser Jr., then please keep an eye out, because I have a lot more coming up. My hope is that I can deliver a version of this movie that truly lives up to the initial expectations I had for it. I can't promise that what I come up with will be the greatest thing you've ever seen, but I'm really proud of what I've written so far, and I'm hoping you truly enjoy the finished product. Until then, be patient
And keep that control stick smoking.